Hi, this is CBRadioMagazine.com, and today we're going to look at the new Cobra 29LXLE 50th Anniversary CB Radio. This is the brand new radio from Cobra that everyone's been excited about. It's got the brand new display on it up front and some new features and stuff as well. So let's pop this box open and have a look. Alright, once you open up the packaging, you're going to have your standard owner's manual and other stuff. Radio is going to be packaged nice. It's got lots of corrugated cardboard in there and some good bubble wrap with your mount here, the power wires, and microphone going to be on the other side. Alright, we've pulled the radio out of the box, and it does have a little sticker tag on the top of it there, and you can see it looks very much like a standard radio case. Except when we get to the front of the radio, of course, and that's where the new styling is easily visible. Looking at the back of the radio, you can see it's a standard Cobra 29 rear part of the radio. Coax connector there in the middle. Standard 3-pin power connector on the right hand side. External speaker jack and PA speaker jack there. And our stamped manufacturer information here for the serial number. Made in China. And as you can see, the manufacture date, I don't know if it'll show up here, August 2010. Brand new radio, as you can see. One of the first ones in the country. Alright, we've attached our microphone. Let's power the radio on and have a first look at that display. Initially, when it powers on there, you can see it comes up and says Cobra 50th Anniversary Edition. And now our new display is up on the screen. Alright, so starting out on this radio, let's start at the left side of the radio. We're going to go through some of the features, work our way over to the right side, and then we'll go into the display. And then from there, we'll go into all the different functions this radio can do. Right here, we've got our noise blank and L button. And you can see when it's enabled, it will show up a display on the left side of the screen there. We can turn it into off mode, just A&L, automatic noise limiter, or noise limiter and noise blank. Just below that, you'll see an SRF and SWR calibration. Most of you guys are used to seeing this switch on a radio. This button here is going to adjust the meter from the three different modes. S, signal receiving here, RF here. When you press it, it'll go into either calibration or SWR mode. So we press it once, it takes us into SWR mode. When we key the radio, you'll see it'll show our SWR. In calibration mode, it'll allow you to calibrate the radio. So if we key the microphone, we can adjust the calibration knob over on the right hand side of the radio, and we can set it to the calibration mark right here when we go to test for SWR. We have a 4-pin microphone, standard Cobra 4-pin, just like a regular Cobra 29. Volume, which will be your on-off control right here on the inside, and on the outside you got your squelch control. Dynamic or microphone gain, and then we've got our control here to change channels and to enter our menu modes. Okay, on the right side of the radio, RF gain control, delta tune control, a talkback, which is going to be on the inside control, and your calibration for SWR is on the outside. Up above here, we've got a scan feature. This allows you to store memories and then scan those memory channels. It also can scan the full 40 channels, or it turns itself off on the third position. Channel 19 and 9 automatic button here to go directly to channel 19 or channel 9. CB weather channel or PA function here. And a dim to toggle between a day or night dimming situation. It's also your escape button when you want to jump out of menus on the main display. Okay, so let's first take a look at the left side of the display here, and we're going to see an SWR meter up top, an RF meter here for outgoing power, and our signal meter here. It'll show us, of course, the calibration position, SRF position, SWR position here to let us know which mode we're in, and as I showed you before, A&L on or off there. Over on the middle section here, you can see it has a RX display there. When we key the microphone, of course, it goes into TX mode. And you can see it toggle in between there. And you can see right now we're in SWR mode, so it's showing our SWR. And if we toggle into our SRF mode, you can see our RF power output. And as I'm talking, you can see it modulate. Okay, as we look towards the center of the display, of course, you can see the channel changing. It also changes the frequency, which is shown here in megahertz, 27.065 megahertz. shows you that you're in CB function, and down below it shows us that we've got our weather alert on in the weather alert mode. As we press different buttons, you can see we've gone into a scan mode here to scan through the CB radio channels, all 40. Or we can go into a memory scan mode where it's just scanning memory channels that we've saved. And you can see it shows the memory indicator down below here. And it also shows that we're in memory scan mode here. So I know everyone's excited to see how this menu works, so let's jump into that. We'll press the large menu button in the middle here, and that'll take us into our menu mode. As you can see, a menu appears on the right hand side of the display. By turning the knob, we can adjust the cursor. And if we want to select and go into one of the menu options, we press in on the menu button again to enter. So as you can see, we've entered our display color mode. To adjust the color, we turn the knob left or right. And as you can see, we've gone from green to red. There's an orange color, which isn't showing up very well on the camera, but it's definitely a little brighter in person. There's a blue mode. And of course our green mode, which we started with. So you've got your green, blue, orange, and red color options on the display, which is very neat. If we want to exit and go back to the menu, we push in again. Second thing we can go into is the brightness. There's an option to adjust the day brightness and the night brightness. And what that means is you can adjust the standard level, which is going to be the day brightness, and then you can adjust it for the night level so that when you press that dim button on the right hand side of the radio, it jumps to the level that you've adjusted for. So if you're someone that wants it very dim at night, what you can do is set it, bright for the day or wherever you want it for day use, and then when you hit that dim button, it'll jump to whatever your setting was for night. So if you would jump into, like, say, the night option here, we moved our cursor down, we press to go into it, and we can turn the level here, and you can see, of course, it gets dimmer and brighter. So we can say, hey, that's going to be our night level, and we exit, and then when we press the dim button, it'll jump to whatever that level is. There's a weather alert option here. And then you can jump in there and turn that on or off. There's a weather alert scan option and a weather auto scan, which will search for the weather channel that's the strongest automatically. There's a contrast option where we can adjust the contrast of the background on the radio. And then from there we go into the keytones. Keytones we can go on or off, and that's to that little beeping that you hear. You can turn that off if that annoys you. One of the nice things about having the keytones on is when you try and adjust some of these settings, when you hit the very top end of the range or the bottom end of the range, it'll kind of do a different sounding beep, so it lets you know you've hit the end of the range. There's a radio check option, and I'll show you this one. You can go into the test here and do the first test and hit enter. It'll check your battery voltage, and we get a pass on that one. Press the button again. Takes us into a push to talk test to check the power output, so we'll key our microphone. Tells us we have a proper power output. It tests for power output between 3.3 watts and 4 watts. And we can jump to the next test where it checks the antenna to make sure we have a good match. And it tells us that our SWR is good and gives us a pass on that. And we can jump out of there. It takes us back out of the menu. One of the last settings here is we can go to the settings option on here, and it tells us which software version we have on here, which is kind of interesting because may mean that there's going to be upgrades for the radio. They can change the software, different frequencies for different areas, so it may mean that to expand the frequencies on this radio might be as simple as uploading some software eventually, which is kind of interesting. Something we don't really just see on CB radios. So those are the menu functions. Once again, you can change color, brightness, adjust the way you do your weather alerts, adjust the contrast, and you can go in and do the checks for the radio, check your match, output power, and everything else. One of the other features I will talk about real quick on this radio is its weather scanning ability to go through weather channels. Radio does have 10 weather channels. You go to them by pressing the CB weather channel PA button. So it jumps us into the weather channel option. You can hit the scan button, and you can actually scan through all 10 until it picks up. You can turn up the squelch until you pick up a good strong signal. Or you can just use the knob and just change manually and go through the weather channels. It will show the frequency of the weather channel, which is kind of cool. As far as the weather ability of this radio goes, I was a little disappointed initially. It barely picked up our weather channel that I normally can hear on some of my other radios that do have weather channel ability. Now we are out in the sticks here, so we're not real close to any of the large weather stations putting out the signal. So we could pick it up on channel 1 here. It definitely wasn't very strong compared to some of the other radios I've had that do have the weather option. So I wouldn't say that's necessarily this radio's strong point at this point, but they're definitely probably for most people in other markets where you're closer into towns or large cities where they have stronger weather stations, you will have no problem picking them up, I bet. But just like I said, in particular, we're a little far away. It just didn't quite have as strong as receive as some of the other radios for weather channel purposes. Okay, this is the inside of the radio on the Cobra 29LX LE. As you can tell, it looks very similar to previous Cobra 29 radios. It does have surface mount technology up here on the front, bored along the bottom of the radio there, as you can see, or actually that's the top as we're looking at it, and one up front for the display, of course. And as we look towards the back of the radio, you'll see, for those of you that do swing modifications and everything else, everything looks very similar. And over here you will see VR4. VR4 is located right here. Turning it clockwise lowers the modulation, turning it counterclockwise will raise the modulation. And radio from the factory, keying about 3 watts, swinging to around 8. With adjusting the modulation pot and adding a better microphone, radio actually tuned up very well, swing up to around 15 watts. So to summarize our preview of this new Cobra 29 LX LE, we really do like the new radio. They've taken kind of the best of the old world and the new world and put it together. Standard Cobra 29 on the chassis, so you can still do all your modifications, adjust the modulation easily, do your swing modifications, all those types of things. So the radio is still going to act and perform like previous 29 versions. The radio has added the talkback, something that we've seen on the more recent Cobra 29s, but not on the old models. And of course the display. I mean, that's the big change for this radio. Digital readout display. Shows the frequency, shows a number of other options in terms of the S-meter, and the options to go in, change the color, which is going to be huge. I think people in the market are really going to like that. Adjust the brightness, the contrast, so lots of adjustment possibilities for this radio. And then of course the memory scan option, which really sets this one apart from even the more recent 29s. You can scan through set memory frequencies, or you can scan all the way through the band. Just something we haven't seen before in a Cobra 29. So I think they're going to see a lot of these on the market. I think people are going to like this radio. Overall so far I give it a big thumbs up. Definitely ditch the standard microphone, get yourself a nice microphone for the radio. Go ahead and adjust up the modulation a little bit just to make sure you get to 100%. You'll see a little more swing that way. And pretty much my only negative with the radio is going to be the lack of the night watch that we've seen on some of the other models. A little bit hard to see the control knobs at night, but I don't think that's going to stop people from running out and getting one of these new radios. So thanks for watching our video. We will have a full review posted on CBRadioMagazine.com this week, along with lots of pictures and more detailed information on the controls and features.